Hey everybody, it's Michael Solomon here again, and I'm going to do my Raw review for the April 30th edition of Raw. It starts out with a video package from the Greatest Royal House Show, Greatest Royal Rumble, that took place on Friday, which was a plenty good show. Some good matches there. I suggest, if you got a chance, go ahead and watch it on the WWE Network. It also leads to Roman Reigns coming out. Now, Roman Reigns' match ended controversially. He speared Brock Lesnar through the cage wall, and they both landed on the outside. Both feet have to touch the floor, from my understanding of the rules of a cage match, and technically Roman Reigns' feet hit first. Brock Lesnar was still laying on the cage. But they gave the match to Brock. I think it was a botched segment. I think there was supposed to go a different way, but it just didn't. Interesting. It's an interesting concept. But Roman came out and said he should be the Universal Champion. He would say something to Brock about it. Brock's not there. And then he says he has to focus on Backlash now, and he has to focus on facing Samoa Joe, which causes Samoa Joe to pop up on the Titantron. During Roman's rant in the ring, he had mentioned that nobody had believed in him and stuff like that. And Samoa Joe comments that that would imply that people believed in you in the first place, and they never did. He also says that he's going to put Roman's downwardly spiraling career to sleep. Again, good promo work from Samoa Joe. I always believe everything he says. He seems like a legit bad guy and a big threat. This all eventually leads to 3 different people coming out to try to challenge Roman Reigns. The first being Jinder Mahal, the next being Sami Zayn, who gets a huge hometown pop, as does the third one, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens kind of gets the biggest pop about facing Roman, and he, makes a comment, "No, sorry fellas," and he goes to get in Roman's face. Roman hauls off and decks him, which means the heels jump Roman Reigns. Eventually, Bobby Lashley comes out to try to even up the numbers, but they just jump him as well. Then a third person, Braun Strowman, shows up to help as well. The faces end up, getting the upper hand and running the heels off. This is going to lead to a 6-man tag match later in the night. I guess we're supposed to forget that Braun and Roman had a pretty big feud not too long ago, but okay, I guess they're just friends now. That's fine. There was a spot during this segment that they said that Sami Zayn could not participate in the Greatest Royal Rumble because of vertigo that he got from the Bobby Lashley or delayed suplex. That's not the real reason. The real reason is because he's Syrian, and with the Syrian descent, the Syrian and Saudi Arabia don't exactly see eye to eye. They don't get along, and so to dodge any tensions, he didn't go to the show. Which is, obviously they can't tell us the real reason, so vertigo is a plenty good reason, in my opinion, to have him written off for that show. Then after that, Elias takes on Bobby Roode. Pretty good match. Went through 2 commercial breaks, though, so I'm not a huge fan of that. It also ended where apparently Bobby Roode suffered a neck injury is the idea that they're going with here. I feel like this is a bad use of Bobby Roode. Elias, I guess, technically picks up the win here, but I don't know what they're going to do with Bobby Roode now. He's got an injury of some sort is the way they pitched it. I don't want him feuding with Elias. I think they could do more with him if they move him up into the higher echelons of Raw, but right now he seems very mid-card, and I think he's worth more than that, so hopefully they do something. We then get the AOP, Authors of Pain, taking on a jobber Canadian team that actually issued the challenge to Authors of Pain, which I'm sure they regret afterward. They get squashed. It's literally a no contest type of thing. Get hit with the last chapter and the collider. They get hit with both of those. Then afterwards, the Authors of Pain cut a little in-ring promo where they claim that the Book of Pain is still open and there is a chapter for every single team on Raw. It's good to see them talking. Now that they don't have the manager, I don't know why they didn't just let him keep the manager, but I guess it was fine. It was fine. That's all I'm going to say about it. We also get Rollins out to the ring. Rollins comes out for the IC title conversation. You know, he wants to talk with the fans. The fans probably give him like the hugest pop ever whenever he like talks about being in Montreal. They start like doing the soccer chants and stuff like that. It's, you know, all fun and games and everything like that. He gets, you know, dual you deserve it chants and everything like that. Eventually Finn Balor comes out, and when he comes to the ring, he says, "Hey, you know, we're 2-2 in singles competition, and you want to be a fighting champion. So if you want to be a fighting champion, perhaps we should have a match tonight." And Seth ends up agreeing. But before anything can happen then, we hear the Miz's music. It ends up being the Miztourage coming out. The Miztourage come down to the ring and go, "Hey, listen, guys, we understand what we did wrong. We confronted you guys one-on-one. And what we should have done is have a group chat." And then they throw open their dress shirts, and underneath they have just white t-shirts with each of their faces taped on it. And they're like, "Look, hold on, guys, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 horsemen of the WWE. Huh? And it's so beautiful. It's so good. I really love what they're doing with the Miztourage right now. Them like trying to fit in. It's hilarious to me. So, you know, Seth and Finn step off like they were gonna talk about it, but they're clearly just there. They're just going like, "There's no way." And so they stay there for a minute. They turn around, and Seth is just like, "That's gonna be a hard no." And Finn like puts down their hands or whatever, and then Curtis Axel just looks so defeated and downtrodden. He just like, he can't even look up. And they go to leave, but as they're leaving the ring, the crowd is also chanting "loser" to them, which is kind of funny. They then turn around and try to attack Finn and Seth. This leads to like a little scuffle, but they get handled pretty easily. But then Finn drops Balor with an elbow, kind of like a heelish move, but it didn't even really come across as a full heel move. It's just almost like he got the upper hand on him. The crowd did boo it, obviously, because it's what you're gonna do. But even afterwards, Seth's like in the ring, and it's like he's like, "Yeah, you know, I get what you were doing," and Finn's, you know, all smiles as he always is. So yeah, this is going to lead to what will be the main event match of the night, the Intercontinental title match. We then, after that, get Ruby Riott versus Sasha Banks. They put on a pretty good match. Sasha, before coming out, is kind of interviewed in gorilla position real quick, asked if, you know, her and Bayley have worked their stuff out, if she's even tried to work things out with Bayley. And she says she hasn't got a text from her, hasn't gotten calls, nothing, hasn't heard from her. She has no idea what's going to go on. And then after that, she says if Ruby wants a riot, then she can bank on one. And that was some grade A, Becky Lynch level of puns and wordplay. And I really approve it. The match was plenty good. There was a couple good spots. I really liked Ruby Riott threw a big, like just basically a cannonball like senton, just a back body drop onto Sasha Banks, just off the ropes, just literally just fell backwards, cannonball style onto her. I really like that. It's not something that most people do, so I like that one. This ends up Ruby Riott ends up picking up the win after like some distraction and some help from the other members of the Riott Squad. She then she gets a Riott kick on Sasha off the top rope, which ends up taking her down. And yeah, and that's the end of that match. It was good. It was plenty good. Then we get a Moment of Bliss, which is another one of these Alexa Bliss segments. This one, she's talking about how bullies, you know, they could be anyone and anywhere, and it could happen at any time. Sometimes even when they're your friend, like Nia Jax was. And she mentions that they had went to Disneyland. They had went to Disney World, sorry. And they were at Disney World, and the whole time they were there, Nia just kept asking every one of the ride operators if she was tall enough to ride the rides. She even asked about it for the teacup ride. It's just a cup that you sit in. A cup. And then she mentions that Nia wanted her to get a kids menu for her, and she thought it was hilarious. And she's like, I can't. I'll never forget just Nia laughing, a turkey leg in each hand. And I just I really, really love these segments. Um, yeah, just another great piece of work by Alexa Bliss here. And then we get an interview with Titus World Slide. They're going over his where he fell during the Rumble, which beautiful moment. One of my favorite things to come out of that Rumble, I think. Yeah, but he basically turns it into a positive and says, like, you know what, it's not about the fall, it's about getting back up afterward, and, like, using that as positive motivation for people. Baron Corbin shows up and goes, you know what would have been more inspirational? If you wouldn't have fallen at all. That probably would have been the better choice. And he goes, I just don't know why you're wasting time with him. But Titus just, like, kind of shrugs it off. He's like, yeah, it's alright, let him go. And then, I don't know if this happened earlier or not, but I realized I didn't write it down in my notes. There was also a Deleter of Worlds segment with Matt Hardy and talking about how Bray and Matt their beings have existed forever. And like, it just photoshopped into this, like, it's like ancient cave paintings, but it's like drawings of them as well with the cave paintings, and then it's like when George Washington crossed the Delaware River, and they're just all like photoshopped onto the boat, like their faces onto these people. I love it. It's absolutely perfect. Very glad that they're the tag team champions. That they're doing great work together. Their finisher needs work, but other than that, these two are just hilarious. I'm absolutely loving everything they're doing, and I hope they keep doing it. We then end up getting the 6-minute tag match to end like the 10 o'clock hour. So it's Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Jinder Mahal taking on Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, and Braun Strowman. So, really good match. The best part of it, obviously, like, I mean, everyone kind of gets their spots, but at the very end, towards the very end, there's the hot tag to Braun Strowman, which is getting over more and more every time he's in a tag match. He does the whole in the ring take care of one person, then go outside of the ring to take care of somebody else. He just like shoulder checks the crap out of like a hockey player into the boards on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn both, I believe. And he also just chucks Kevin Owens into the barricade as well. Everybody kind of gets their spots towards the end there. The match ends up ending where Braun Strowman catches a couple super kicks, and he's dropped in the corner. Kevin is going to go for the running senton splash that he does, the cannonball, into the corner, but Braun stands up and just grabs him by the throat. We get the power slam. Braun Strowman pins Kevin Owens for the victory for his team. All well and good. I mean, I don't know. I guess because like they haven't figured out what to do with the championship is maybe why you're just seeing all this chaos with all these big names that could end up going against Roman in the future. It's why kind of everyone was just in one match. I thought it was really good though, in all honesty. We then get Baron Corbin going one-on-one against No Way Jose. It's a decent showing. Wasn't, anything crazy or anything like that. No Way Jose ends up picking up the win when Titus Worldwide all come down to the ring. Apollo Crews dries the spot like where he tripped before, and Dana Brooke helps him step over the spot. So he goes and gets up on the apron, and then he slips on the apron and just epically falls off the apron. I'm fine with it. I loved it. This distracted Baron Corbin, who then gets rolled up, and No Way Jose picks up the win. So, yeah, I really liked that. I really liked that segment. I'm glad that they're just taking this and running with it for right now. Mickie James ends up going against Natalya. Their Alexa Bliss and Ronda Rousey are with their separate friends for this match at ringside. A great showing for the women's division. Two veterans that know how to work a match. They did very well. There's a point where Alexa Bliss jumps up on the apron to distract Natalya, in which case, that gives Mickie James the upper hand. Ronda eventually goes to chase down Alexa, they're running circles around the ring. Meanwhile, while that's happening, Natalya gets the roll-up pin victory and ends up getting the win there. But when it rains, it pours for Alexa Bliss as she's then standing up towards the top of the ramp. When Nia Jax's music hits, she hightails it out of the arena through the crowd to get away from Nia, which is probably a smart move on her part. Nia gets into the ring, raises the hands of Ronda Rousey and Natalya. It's just all in all a good moment. I really liked it. We then get a little promo from Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, where they, it was a thing. I like Drew McIntyre's part where he was talking about how he's different because when he says things, you feel the power, like you feel his words. I thought that was really good. Dolph Ziggler then saying, we didn't come to steal the show, but we're gonna take it. Well, what? Like, come on, it's the same thing. What does that even mean? And I genuinely like this. I like Drew McIntyre, so I'm hoping that this works out. And then lastly, we get the Intercontinental title match. Finn Balor going one-on-one against Seth Rollins. An amazing match. A lot of really good spots. Like, every time these two go against each other, they put on a, really, really impressive match every time. There was a lot of good spots. Too many to name. If you get a chance, go and watch it. It's definitely worth a watch. The big spot I did really like, there was a superplex. Seth Rollins superplexed Finn Balor, and as you know, he usually hits a superplex and then goes for the Falcon Arrow. And every other time, Finn was rolling him up lately, like it's kind of been like his counter to it. But this time, he just hits Seth with the Falcon Arrow. I just thought that was awesome. I thought that was a really good spot. So yeah, Finn ends up taking a curb stomp, and that means Seth Rollins does retain his Intercontinental title, picking up the 3 count on Finn Balor, meaning that Seth Rollins is now 3-2 over him in their little competition. And that's the end of the night for Raw. So overall, great show. I'm going to give it a low 4 out of 5. It's like a 4.1 out of 5. I thought it was a really good show. The 2 matches, the 6-man tag and the Intercontinental title match, were both really, really good. And just excellent matches all around. There wasn't too many, negatives that I really had for this, except maybe if you want to talk about the fact that we have to just pretend Braun and Roman, didn't try to kill each other for a while there. But, yeah, so that's my opinion, and that's also my review for Raw. So, what opinions do you have? What are your thoughts? Do you think that Titus World Slide is the greatest part of the greatest Royal Rumble and what's going on right now with wrestling? Do you not like Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy as a tag team? Do you think they should have just kept Matt and Jeff because they're a classic? Do you really kind of want Finn Balor to pick up the win and take that Intercontinental title from Seth Rollins at some point? No matter what your opinions are, leave a comment down in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And so that was Raw. I'll be back tomorrow with a review of SmackDown. I've been Michael. You guys have been awesome. See you tomorrow.